So, Manchester United host Crystal Palace tomorrow, 2 p.m. at Old Trafford. And it's 12th place, mate, Manchester United, 12th place, let's have it, versus 13th place. Battle of the mid. Forget battle of the century. Who needs battle of the centuries? We're going to battle of the mids. The mid tables, Midchester United versus Midstal Palace or Crystal Midless. I don't know. I don't know what you could mid Crystal Palace. I don't know. You come up with some creative names for a mid-table Crystal Palace. Well, actually, you could just call them Crystal Palace at this, if that's the case, because they are mid-table generally. But big game once again. I did say after the Fulham game that the next four would be quite instrumental based on what happens around us in the table. And man, today was a wacky day, really wacky day for football. I mean, for example, the 12:30 kickoff today. I mean, Jesus Christ, Bournemouth go from absolutely slaughtering um, Nottingham Forest to then Nottingham Forest dead and buried, doing an Undertaker and absolutely clearing the entire ring. Literally, just looked at Brighton and just thought, yeah, just so you know, you're dying today, said Nottingham Forest to Brighton. And Brighton was just like, but why? We're here to play a game of football. And Nottingham Forest was just like, yeah, fat load of fat chance that you're getting out of here just playing a game of football, mate. You're playing a game of life and death now. Jesus, just absolute, just beheading of Brighton with Southampton. I mean, where the bloody hell did that come from? Jesus Christ! Now Brighton fans know how it feels to be a Man United fan for a day. So yeah, that's happened. So yeah, Everton, the Moisey 2000s feeling is back, feeling like how Everton, difficult team, strong team, presence in the Premier League, and Goodison Park. Although not for much longer, Everton away will be a very difficult game for pretty much every team. Will we see that Everton fully fledged once again? We'll have to wait and see. But a very resounding win over Leicester City, and Wolverhampton Wanderers finding a solid 2-0 result over Aston Villa today. And it's just weird. It's just a really weird day today. I don't know. I'm God. Fulham away to Newcastle. They won that game there. Southampton's second win all season away to Ipswich Town. The only result that you could probably say was absolutely fully expected was Bournemouth Liverpool. So today was just a weird day, and I'm hoping that that's not a sign of how things are going to go tomorrow. I know that Brentford host Tottenham. I can definitely see with the absolute travesty that is Tottenham Hotspur at the moment under Ange Postecoglou, that Brentford will find themselves a win there. And Arsenal versus Manchester City, very big game. Thankfully, I'm off of work because I finish work early tomorrow. I'm off of work, so I can actually catch that game. And I'm hoping I don't know, actually, probably until sort of halfway through second half of the for my Manchester United versus Crystal Palace game. So obviously I'll have to watch back some of the highlights for that game and see what else I can make of it. But I'm hoping tomorrow will be a game that's a big kick on from I think starting point of the game against Fulham, and then of course the midweek game where I think first half we played a little bit a little bit sluggish, quite a few opportunities, but then the second half we really kicked it into gear, went on the front foot, and played some decent stuff, and we saw better balances in the team. We see the well, not me per se, but I suppose Ruben Amorim sees the revelation of Mainu playing further forward in the 10 position. Probably will see reason. Hey, maybe there's an idea right there. Maybe play the Miner in the 10, and we saw Dalot get into a good goal scoring position, so we know that he looks to be a bit more offensive as a fullback, wing back, and that should be a positive sign, because so far when we've played fullbacks, they've been a little bit deep on the pitch. Well, if we're seeing the opportunity that fullbacks or our wing backs do look to, get into more attacking positions, maybe they're understanding their role a little bit better, or trying to, um, you know, get into a more adaptable role in the team. And overall, I just think that's where they need to be. When the ball is in and around the box, you're a wide man, you're a wide player, not necessarily in attacking scenarios. Do you get marked? So if you're going to be unmarked, you get into a really dangerous position. So you prop up where the opponents don't expect you. And I've seen it a couple of times this season where, just a quick switch of the play to an unmarked far side wing back or fullback, and that's a goal scoring opportunity. And we saw it against FCSB in Bucharest. We need to see the same intent there tomorrow. Wing backs, whoever plays there. Dorgu, welcome to Manchester United. It's Patrick Dorgu. Completed his medical today and signed the contract. He won't feature tomorrow. I don't think. But I can imagine he will definitely be at Old Trafford in attendance for the game. Just seeing some of the system in action, and probably be spoken to as to what to expect. What his role in the team is set to be. And I think overall, I think he should be a positive addition to the squad. It's looking more likely that with the uncertainty of game time from Malacia, that's Dorku's arrival paves the way for Malacia's loan exit. Benfica, I think the club is where he's most likely going to. So yeah, I think just tomorrow is show Dorku the example, get him into training, and then we have Leicester at home midweek for the FA Cup fixture. He'll have a couple of training sessions, I'd imagine, starting from Monday. And will we see him feature against the Foxes? Will be interesting to say the least, because it will be a left-sided player. And some people might say, oh, it's another fullback who can't defend. Well, I mean, it's a fullback first and foremost, so he has got defensive capabilities. But on top of that, he does have quite a high attacking work rate, so there's a good balance there. Whereas our fullbacks don't necessarily have attacking work rates. They're just more sort of defensive, but with a bit of a balance to it. But yeah, he's a lot more of an attacking work rate and a bit of presence on the left-hand side. A left-sided player in a left-hand side position, I think, is what's definitely going to be needed in the balance of play. We need to control the ball better. We need players that are more suited to each of the specific positions on the pitch. And I think Dorgu, him being in and around the team, benches one of two, Dalot or Mazraoui. And I just think it's a big invitation. I do think it's just a big invitation to increase and to develop the balance and get this team, the system working more functional. We need to create more chances, and we need to be scoring more goals. And I think just constantly working to adapt is what the players that we have here at the moment need to be able to do to the best of their abilities. Obviously, there's a lot of players there that don't quite have it. Not necessarily per se with the ability, but I just think low skill ceiling, low IQ, low intelligence. I think the players we're bringing in are very highly adaptive and have heightened intelligence. I suppose they're looking for smarter players that sort of have a better read on the game. Of course, Dorku being at 20 years of age, he's not going to have the most perfect, almost polished read of the game. I think the mental side of his game probably will be more developed by the time he's around sort of 25, 26 years of age. Will he be at the club at that point? Not sure. Maybe, possibly. He's here until 2030 on the contract side of things, but if it doesn't work out, he might be gone long before then. And thankfully, with his wages being so small compared to everybody else in the team, I can definitely see that if this doesn't work out, there's an easy sale, a very easy sale. Not much in the way of demand, so it's I think all round it's a good deal. It is a good deal because it doesn't screw us down the line in the future. We don't make the mistake to just secure the player now and then them not chalk up to be what we want them to be, and then ultimately flush ourselves down the toilet. We'll get stuck in the quicksand. So, yeah, for me, Palace tomorrow, very difficult game. I think they're currently still are on a strong run of away games. So we do need to be on our toes. Although I don't think, if I check this, so yeah, they don't have Ebarachi Eze and no Czech Decore. So they're missing their star player, right? Their best asset in an attacking creative sense. They don't have Eze featured. Apparently, he is ruled out for this game, although there may be. I don't know what the murmurings are. Apparently, there is a player that is back for this game, but I don't know who that is. I haven't read the name on the reports, but from what I'm seeing on the assessment of the game, they're saying that four players that Palace are missing are Decore, Eze, Riyad, and Ward. Of course, our missing four players would be Evans, Mason Mount, Luke Shaw, and of course Rashford, who we'll get onto in a sec. Of course, left out of the team because a very certain MVP team has come to help sort out our Rashford problem. So yeah, we're missing a couple of players, but I'm definitely not the biggest difference makers in that side of things. So I'm not necessarily too concerned about um, team availability, player availability, or fitness. I think we'll be in a strong position squad wise. I think with the way that the team selection that we played against FCSB, we should be. I'd imagine we will see a team rotation. We should see Xerxes start, given that Oyland has started. I think this was the second game in a row, the FCSB game that he had started the game. So I'd imagine, I think for what we're about to play against, Amorim is looked in or has penned in Xerxes for this game. If that's not the case, if he is going to start Højlund again, then I've absolutely no clue. Absolutely no clue what the obsession over Højlund is. Because for me, he's got to be benched. He has to be benched. And I think for what we need, and perhaps, he's looked at the way that Mainu's played later in the game with Xerxes in and around the team. He's looked at that and gone, oh, actually, I like that a lot. So let's do that. And I think it would work wonders. I think play Xerxes and Mainu probably left more so the left side, the left 10. As to who plays on the right 10 position, it'll probably end up being Amad Diallo. And I think probably will have to be Amad Diallo. Would be interesting, though, with the other transfer news potential for Man United with incomings for this January transfer window. So yeah, I'm looking at just having a little look at the transfer updates. So yeah, not too much information. Just the confirmation that Dorku is officially a Manchester United player as he has signed the contract. But yeah, I think there's I think obviously one more addition that we could make that could further improve the balance of the team. In terms of a player identity, I'm not too sure about the player necessarily being a striker. I don't necessarily think that the strikers are the problem at the moment or the biggest problem factor in the team. I just think looking after possession at the top end of the pitch, we don't necessarily have, um, you know, tens, barring one or two players at the moment that sort of know how to play a possession-based game. So yeah, I'm sort of in a position right now where I'm a little bit, uh, yeah. I think we need good creators, players that do fit that 10 mold, if you will, or play quite effectively as inverted forwards. Because I mean, Garnacho played over the left sided, left 10, came into the team at the left 10, or he might have actually moved over to more wing back and played more progressively up the pitch, but got into good positions, did Garnacho. I think it's just his conversion that he just can't seem to get right at the moment. So, um, yeah, hopefully he can get that figured out. Um, as far as the score prediction goes, I've gone with a 2-1. I don't like predicting Man United to win convincingly with any games at the moment. I really don't. I don't see us progressing enough to say, yeah, we'll definitely win that game with absolute conviction. And I think it's written in that Palace will probably look to come for a game. So we have to be, yeah, we have to be ready for that. Um, let's talk about Rashford for a second. Aston Villa, Aston Villa have knocked on the door for Marcus Rashford and have stated, "We'll take him on loan. We'll take him on loan. We've ironed the details. We've sorted the wage structure. Who's paying what? So I think it's about 60% of the wages paid by Aston Villa, or at least 60%. And their talks, I think, probably retaining around a potential buy clause. I think a buy option, dependent on how the performance goes in the loan stint. I can tell you now that Aston Villa, having lost today's game, probably accelerates this deal just that next step up yet again. So I'm expecting this Rashford deal to end up getting completed very, very soon. And I'm hoping that they do insert that buy option, because it really does help the case of not really having to deal with this transfer yet again. Like, we don't have to come back to dealing with Rashford in the summer once again. I think there's like a loan fee that they ought to pay, just so that they can get the lower, so that they don't have to pay as much of the wage, or the wage coverage. And it gives just a little bonus of cash for Man United to go out and do another deal. And that sort of feeds into Mateus Tell from Bayern. Apparently, we do like this deal a lot. Bayern would prefer to sell. They want the money. Tell, however, I think he wants Man United. If he's leaving Bayern, he wants a club, worth his time, like has the appeal. And sorry, Tottenham, but you're not that club. And I think Chelsea probably hit the snag with the transfer side of things, with the transfer fee, or negotiating that part of the transfer with Bayern. So yeah, I think Manchester United very much in the driver's seat here, because the player, if whatever the player wants, really, maybe Bayern might try to sneak in that buy clause, and I suppose Man United would be happy to talk about buy options for Matthias Tell, because what's to say he comes in and really hits the ground running and does some spectacular things? I think we could say absolutely. We trialed him in the Premier League, gave him minutes, and he found his feet. And I think, given the sort of characteristics that he has as a player, I don't necessarily think he's an out and out number nine. I think he's more sort of support to the number nine. I think he's more of a support player with a goal scoring capability. So I think one of those 10 positions might be the destination or the role in the team that he may opt in to play. Um, Definitely wouldn't be wing back, because that's a little bit too. There's too much defensive ability that he has to have in order to play that effectively. Um, and I think he's probably a little bit better, sort of not directly in the middle and not directly sort of wider channels. I think probably in the channels, sort of semi-middle, is probably where you're going to find his best work. So, hey, 19 years of age, is a player with potential. You sign a player with potential, the world is your oyster. Let's see what you can do with developing. Um, and does Amarim uh, do a good job with the development of a player? I think, dependent on the roles he gives them, might be something to be said about that. But for me, I can't say I dislike this option, the signing of Tell. I can't say that I dislike it. Ideally, though, I would have liked to have seen um, a centre mid. I would have liked to have seen a centre mid, but I don't think that was going to happen without the departure of Casemiro. And by the looks of it, Casemiro is not going anywhere. The Saudi market is closed, so no transfers to Saudi Arabia for Casemiro. Although maybe somebody comes in out of left field from Turkey or the MLS and says, "Hey, Cass, why don't you come over here? We'll sort you out." And then Cass goes, "Yeah, sure." I don't see that happening necessarily, but never say never. I mean, this window's a little bit stagnant, but we're seeing one or two surprises with transfer business. But I personally think that the last deal will be Matthias Tell. I think they've sort of locked in, they've honed in on that target being the player, and they are going full steam ahead. And it is a player that you can play in the 10 position, so that does address one of my positions of concern. I think it was centre mid, number 10 striker, and then the left wing back. Well, we signed a left wing back, and we're, by the looks of it, addressing somebody to come in to the number 10. So I suppose we look at sorting Casemiro's situation out in the summer. But let's just be real, guys. January transfer window, as far as a wage issue is concerned, we're taking off at least 84% of a £200,000 a week wage, and maybe about a 60% of a 350k a week wage. With then the plausibility that the player leaves in the summer. So we freed up a little bit of space on the wage bills. I can't imagine. Well, Dorku only for 30k a week. That's peanuts for a professional football player, especially in the Premier League. And Matthias Tell, I cannot imagine at the age of 19 is going to be like, oh, I want 150, 200 grand a week. I want that. I don't see that. I mean, I know Bayern at the moment have been, or in recent years have been giving quite astronomical wages, but I think Matthias Tell is not one of those that's negotiated. Actually, let's have a quick look at that, shall we? Tell wage 2025. What's the salary? What is his salary? Looks like a lot. Hmm. 96, 96, about 96,000 euros per week. So 80k, about 80k, 81k is the current deal that he has on with Bayern Munchen. So yeah, I'd imagine if it's a loan deal we're doing, there's going to be a bit of a split of wages. I think, given that Bayern would prefer to sell, I can't imagine they would want to have a lot to do with paying Tell's wages. So I think we do have to do a little bit of work there, a bit of negotiating to ensure that we don't stick him on a massive wage. If we can keep, well, I suppose because it would still be his current contract, the wages, if we could get a split there, maybe we'd end up paying around, I think about 40k a week, 40k pound a week, until the summer. I think is it's a relative. I suppose from a financials perspective, it's a good deal. And if you can get a very reasonable, I think a very reasonable um, fee in place for the buy option, if we so choose to make it a permanent ordeal, and then the player contracts that we would then offer him, I would want us to aim to definitely keep it fair ways below £100,000 a week. If we can do that, then I think we could be on to something. But let's see where Man United go from this. But yes, overall, I'm happy with the finality of the situation with Marcus Rashford. Finally, at long last, this guy is gone. He is out the door, pretty much, although the deal's not completed nor finalised yet. But they are very, very, very close. Right, probably one or two fine details to iron out before they give the green light. And I'd imagine, given the state of the result for Aston Villa, they'll probably look to you know accelerate with this. Full speed ahead. Let's get the deal done, get the player in, get him settled in, and let's just motor on to the next game. Um, and yeah, that's where I feel like we're at the moment. So at long last, all the top reds, or the top devils are crying. They're sending love letters, like Marcus's name, his surname is Capulet. Forget Rashford here. Marcus Capulet. They send novel love letters. They some of these these budget low budget bastards will probably send messenger pigeons. Take the messenger pigeons. Send him my letters of love. Proclaim my desire to be with him. Seriously, get out of here, you bunch of spongy wet wipes. Get out of it. Get out of it. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about the game tomorrow. Must win for Manchester United. What your score predictions are and your feelings about Marcus Rashford. Are you happy he's going? Are you sad he's going? Are you masturbating to the fact that he's going, or are you masturbating to just another picture of Marcus Rashford on your timeline? I don't know what gets your clock ticking, but I'll leave that to you to decide. I'm gonna hop on out of here. Make sure to hit the likes and subscribe, and yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with the fallout of the Man United versus Crystal Palace game. Hopefully, it's a win. Fingers crossed. Touch wood. Knock on wood. That we can get the result across the line. Another really important 3 points. We're 29 points at the moment. Get us up to 32. Get us into the 30s. We'll definitely be safe from relegation at that point. And from there onwards, it's onwards and upwards, and hopefully We'll get the here we goes for the Mateus Tell stuff tomorrow. I would like to see the deal get done over the weekend and have him sort of contract signed by the very least Monday and begin training. I'd imagine the game is on. Is it Wednesday? Where we play Leicester? No, it is not. Never mind. We play them Friday, so yeah, let's get the deal done and contract signed by at least Monday, and then have him training some of the midweek days. That way, a little bit of fitness, a little bit of readiness for the fixture on Friday. And you know what? Am I happy to see that we can have our game played on Friday? Because then that gets us out of the way for us to enjoy the rest of the weekend. And that's what we live for. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Catch you all again tomorrow. And yeah, welcome to Manchester United, Patrick Dorgu.